same one there. It says you're hitting a button, doing the same thing the other one did.
Okay, so we're gonna see. Hold on one second. So we are live. Hello, all. I hope that everyone is well. Thanks for coming into the first live streaming prayerfully episode of Wise Old Broads, where I have a fantastic, fabulous woman who I love her so much. I really, really love her, and she's amazing. And we are going to try and bring her on. But before I get to that, I wanted to say, what is Wise Old Broads and why Wise Old Broads? Wise Old Broads is a relational platform where I glean the wisdom jewels from women who are 60 years old and older. I'm a woman, I'm in my 30s. And I know that I've been blessed with such rich relationships. My relationships are so rich. God has really just provided so many different people who have spoken into my life and who I've had a chance to learn from and glean from and see from. So I want to share that with you guys because I know that not everybody has the opportunity to talk to people and not everybody has someone who they can glean from. So that is why Wise Old Broads is very necessary. I love the African proverb, I believe it is, that says that when an old person dies, a library burns with them or something like that. It's not that exactly, but what I'm saying is that older people have such wisdom. And the women that I choose for my broadcast are women who live life to the fullest. They are some Zostic women. They're fabulous. They're beautiful. They have they're tenacious. They have a lot going for them, and they see aging as getting better and better and better. And that's all that I want. I want to get better and better as I grow older and older. So I am going to go ahead and let Sandra.
Yes, I'm here.
Did you go ahead and click on it?
Yes, can you? I'm on. I see myself on the camera. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I do not see you.
Oh, you don't see me?
Mm-mm.
I have the cam on.
You have the camera on.
Can you see me now?
Nope.
Yes. You don't see me.
Mm-mm.
Oh, wow. Okay. But I am on.
But you know what we're going to do? If it doesn't work to where we can't see you, because one monkey does not stop my show, what I will do at all, one monkey doesn't stop my show. What I'm going to do is I have you on my phone, and they will be able to hear your fantastic, fabulous voice. So go ahead and introduce us, Sandra. Who are you?
Okay. Hi, I'm Sandra Ware, and I am a housewife, mother of two adult children, amazing adult children, and I live in Oakland, California, and I've been married for going on 43 years to my amazing husband, Ed.
Awesome. And Sandra, how old are you?
I am 70, and I'm going to celebrate a birthday this coming Monday.
70. Okay. So if you guys saw the thumbnail that I had, I wish you guys could see her because she is so beautiful. She is what I consider to be the epitome of grace. She's such a graceful woman, and I will upload a picture because StreamYard is acting up a little bit right now. But I have a question. So a lot of people have issues with, not even just a lot of people, specifically a lot of women, and I do not know why. They have issues when asked about their age, and I feel like it's been a running joke just in society. Like you never ask a woman what her age is or what her weight is. What do you think about that?
You're asking me?
Yes. What do you think about that? What do you think about growing older?
I think I told you before, I really feel blessed because I think that age is a blessing from the Lord. especially today with all that we're going through, I feel more blessed that I'm still here, that I'm able to have life when there are so many young people that are dying all around us, especially with this pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a blessing. So, it's great to be alive. I spoke with a girlfriend on yesterday, and we've been friends for over 50 years. And she just lost her dad, and he was a wonderful 101 years old. So I think it's a blessing.
101. I remember my grandmother who passed last year. She always had aspirations of living to like 100. And I don't even think people my age want to live that old anymore. Nobody is caring about it at all. They're like, I have one friend in particular. She's like, you know what? Let me go now. If it's my time, it's my time. I don't hear people saying that they want to grow old like that anymore.
I know, but I don't know why. I mean, well, I do know why, Andrea, because the world is so, oh my God, it's just such a mixed up place, and it's so many horrible things that are happening. But for age itself, it's a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand because of all the things that are going on around us, people just don't want to be here. But I want to stay as long as God gives me breath. So I'm not really bummed about that.
Okay.
I'd like to have life without all the stuff that goes along with it. But, I think it's still a blessing. I really do.
So it's one thing to say that you want to live a Zostic life as you get older, but what are the steps that you are taking right now in order to grow better as you grow older?
I definitely eat healthy. And, I am doing that on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I am watching, the foods I eat. I'm choosing my foods wisely. I'm not eating uncontrollably. And I was doing an exercise program. I do have some, physical challenges somewhatly that prevent me from exercising as much as I want to, but I, do have a moderate exercise program. Okay. So those are important things to do. And I drink lots and lots of water.
Okay. So one of the things that we talked about, physical health, I believe that we are all, for the most part, people are very conscious of it. They're very aware that their health is their wealth. But there is something else, especially in times like this, where we've had so much stuff going on in our world, so much trauma and toil. How do you take care of yourself emotionally and mentally, especially during times like this?
Well, for one, for me, I am a very intuitive person, and intuitive being spiritual minded. So I spend time with God, and I really take time to think about, and do other things. So I find things to occupy myself with. I was telling somebody that one of the things I do is I find projects for myself and occupy my time with other positive things. So, finding projects to do, things that, give me joy, things that I love to do.
What kind of projects are those?
Organizing things, organizational projects. I have started reading, which is something I hadn't done in a while. I have lots and lots of books. And I told my kids I was reading what would be to some people a boring book. I have a book that I'm reading called Blood Sugar Solution. It's not a typical book that anybody would want to read, but it's a book on your health. And it talks about the blood sugar. So it helps you with understanding how to eat for your health.
Okay.
and it's mostly geared towards people who may have problems with diabetes, which I don't, but it's to prevent you from, having those kinds of things. So it was a book recommended to me some years ago by my medical practitioner.
Okay.
And so I've picked that up and started reading it. And I have a variety of books that I read by different authors. So reading is something I started doing. I watch documentaries of different types, and then I watch some funny different programs from the old days.
Like what from the old days? What? How old are we talking about? Oh, the honeymooners.
Oh, they're real old.
I remember the honeymooners.
Really?
No, not live,
Oh
obviously.
no! Are you serious?
I'm talking about reruns. Yeah. I remember the reruns.
Yeah, well, that's all that you can see is the reruns, and then Sanford and Son, and just things to make you laugh.
Okay.
I mean, we need laughter. Why are you sitting and watching stuff to make you mad or make you cry or make you miserable? So I just get joy out of laughing. And then with Netflix and Prime and all the things you can watch on television now, why sit up and be miserable? So when I'm watching television, I try to watch something that's going to give me joy, or things that just make me laugh.
Okay. Okay.
So so I find time to just enjoy my life, because I don't think that we're here to be miserable or here to be sad or be depressed. And when I'm facing challenges and I have to go take a COVID test. Watching television now, why sit up and be miserable? So when I'm watching television, I try to watch something that gives me joy, or things that just make me laugh. So. So I find time to just enjoy my life, because I don't think that we're here to be miserable or here to be sad or be depressed. And then I had the COVID test, and I was fine with that. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And then I went and had my procedure. And the day I went in to have the medical procedure, I was so surprised. The nurse told me that I was the first patient that had a low blood pressure as low as mine that he had seen all day. And my BP was like 109/59. I told him, I said, it's the lowest blood pressure I've had probably in years.
Wow.
And 59 was the lowest I've ever had.
Okay.
So, but it just spoke to the fact that I was cool, calm, and collected. And I was like, thank you, God.
Yeah.
But that was just, I wasn't letting stuff get to me. I was relaxed.
Okay.
And the proof of that was that my BP was low.
Okay.
Some people go in and they have to have their pressure taken twice, before they can get it down.
So we've talked a lot about health, and we've talked about how you are living exhaustively, but honestly, I want to know how you became, or what things led to you becoming the fabulous woman that you are. Give me a little bit of background about where you grew up, because you said you're from Oakland, I believe you said, but where you grew up, what were the things that were going on at that time? Who were your influences, both personally and if you had any celebrity influences? I want to know about those things that influenced you.
Well, actually, remember, I grew up in Oakland,
okay,
but I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
So we came out here when I was about 4 years old. And I think I said that one of the women I admired the most, who was an actress that I admired when I was growing up, was Diana Carroll. And I always just thought she was such a classy woman.
She's so good. She's so
very sharp. Yes.
Okay.
Just fabulous.
So I knew Diana Carroll. The first thing that I remember her in, I don't mind telling my age because age is beautiful. You remember when she had that role in the 5 Heartbeats?
Oh, yes. Yes.
I thought she was so fly.
Yes.
She was fly. Her husband and that was fly. I was just like, oh my gosh, this woman is gorgeous. That's what I remember her as. And then as I grew older and started doing my research, I fell in love with her in Dynasty. Mm-hmm. When did you fall in love with her?
Mm-hmm. I can't really tell you, but all I remember is that it was like way, way back. Because my memory, in terms of the very first time, I can't probably recall the exact show right now.
Okay.
Because you catch me on the spot.
Oh, okay.
But I just remember that she's always just been a very elegant woman to me. Mm-hmm. And she never changed. But she's just one of the women, the African-American women that I thought of that was really very sharp. And I've always just felt like, yeah, she's sharp. So, yeah.
So and it's interesting because when I do think about you and I think about the timing, one of the things that I've noticed with a lot of the wise old broads that I speak to are that they carry themselves in a particular way. So I know that you had to dress up when you were going out. I mean, not like dress up, but you had to be dressed when you went out.
Yes.
Do you still do that today?
Not as much because, for example, growing up, we always had to we had our Sunday clothes, we had our clothes for school, we had our clothes that we played in. Mm-hmm. And so for years, I always dressed that way. I raised my children that way. However, as I got older and changed churches, our church culture changed. Huh. And so now I'm a little bit different because we don't do the same things the same way. So I still like to dress for certain occasions. In my business, however, we still have that culture. So I'm kind of going back to it. Okay. But not so much in my personal life. Or in my, church life, or just in my business life. So you shared with us. I'm mindful of it. You shared with us that your business you are a Mary Kay consultant. Yes. And I find it so fascinating that a woman who is 70 is still is not saying, okay, well, I'm just going to sit around and do nothing. You're still extremely active. You're extremely active within your business. How is it being your age and still being a working woman? I love it. I love it because it gives me the opportunity to meet other great women, to help to enrich women's lives and help them feel good about themselves. Mm-hmm. So it puts me in the face of women and helping to make a difference in their lives. Okay. And how would you motivate or encourage a woman my age to walk in that way or to walk that out as well? Because a lot of women, they don't want to work. They, I just want to meet a man. I want to get married and I want to be whatever. You've done that and you still chose to work. What would you say to me? I would first tell a woman or encourage a woman to think about, herself. Because first you have to think about you. It's not about who you want to meet or who you want to impress, but first loving on yourself, being true to you. Wow. And, it's enriching your life. And what I do is make women feel good about themselves and showing her that there's something for her. And it's not for her to do something for her to impress someone else, but just to show the beauty within herself. Because beauty is only skin deep It's not about even what you do with the outside.
And I think that that's a reason why so many women are scared of getting older. That's because they put so much stock in their physical beauty that, I'm not going to say it goes, because when you take care of yourself, you take care of yourself. But if, there's something younger and hotter and, a different look or whatever the case is, a lot of women feel like their self-esteem is all dependent on the way that they look. And thank you for sharing that it's not. Now,
oh yeah, it really isn't.
Yeah. And you said you're married. How long have you been married?
We've been married 42 years, and come this December, it will be 43. And this is my second marriage. And after a failed first marriage, no fault of my own, but a choice that I made to leave, I was not planning to get married again. But God sent me a good man after about almost 8 or 9 years of being by myself with my son.
Wow.
And I'm so glad he did.
Okay.
And we've been together almost 43 years.
43 years is a long time. That's a long time. This is older than me. How do you manage to stick with someone for 43 years when most people don't like to stick with someone longer than 43 days?
That is so true.
I said it. I did.
Oh my gosh. I first, and my husband, I always say this, and I don't mean to sound, I don't mean to can this or whatever, but first we give the glory to God, because truly, I tell you, if it wasn't for God, we wouldn't still be together.
Okay.
That's the God's truth. So we have made God the center of our marriage, and the one that we go to for, solving a lot of the problems that we had early on in our marriage. But so we take him as our partner.
Okay.
We chose to take him as our partner early on. And then to answer those questions that maybe other women have that are, still struggling in their marriage, we've decided to talk through a lot of the issues that we have. So one of the things that I think is critical in relationships is accepting that the person that you married doesn't have to think like you, be like you, like the same things that you like, or feel the same way about things in life that you feel. So you have two people that are very different that come together, but they saw something in each other that brought them together. So, for example, when I met my husband, you have that initial something, that chemistry that brings you together. And then we found out that we had a lot of opposites about us. And so early on, when we discovered that, my husband shared with me that, there were some things he liked, and that, for us to communicate, there were some things that I could do that, may bring us together to be more, I guess, in communication.
Right.
Communication was very key with me. Now, we were not going to make it if we couldn't talk. So that was important.
Okay.
Talking about your differences, for sure. But anyway, I saw that he liked sports, and that was not one of my things. But I had a son who played sports.
Okay.
So that was one thing my husband could teach me. My husband liked to read the newspaper a lot. So I found myself getting involved and finding out a lot about what was going on in the world.
So you became selfless and you took on his interest, some of his interest, because I'm not saying you lost yourself within a period. That's another thing, another misconception that a lot of people have. there's this attitude, well, like, oh, well, you know, they need to look at me and like what I do, and, you know, all of this kind of stuff. And it's
not at all.
It's a give and take for 42 years if you want to grow old with that person.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, and then he would get up, and I was the main cook in the house, but my husband had been a bachelor for all of his 30 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was 30 years when he I think he was 30 something, 32 maybe when we got married. So he had been a bachelor all his life. So he would get up and cook breakfast on Saturdays. That was his contribution. But over the years, my husband cooks a lot.
Okay.
He
Same.
cooks a lot.
Okay.
So he started cooking different meals. He loved my cooking, but he started cooking a lot. And now, you know, he helps out in the kitchen a whole lot.
Okay.
And it's just the two of us. But he cooks a lot of food. He cooks a lot of meals. He cooks probably maybe 3-4 times a week.
So, Sandra, I know you love him, but do you like him?
I do.
Okay.
Not now. I probably love him more, but he's a good friend.
Okay.
He's and I tell him he really is one of my best friends.
Okay.
He really is.
Okay.
Because he's somebody that I admire.
Mm-hmm.
He's a godly man. He has great integrity, and he gives good advice. So sometimes I go to him for things. He helps me with a lot of stuff. So I mean, we've grown a good friendship, and I think that's how we ended up getting married.
Oh, because you guys were friends first, lovers and friends.
Yes, he was somebody that I really grew to like.
Nice.
And so yeah, it's a mutual kind of a thing.
Beautiful.
And so yeah, I do. And I don't think I could really be with him if I didn't like him.
You'd be surprised.
Well, that's true too. Because I know some folks, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I could, So
yeah, you'd be surprised. You know what? So I love this because one thing that I hear, a common theme that I hear within every topic that we've hit is that you honor yourself. You stay true to yourself, whether it's being with a man that you actually like and enjoy, and then being willing to do the work within that relationship, or still putting in your work at 70 years old, taking care of your health and owning your health, not being a victim to the aging process. Because I mean, let's face it, growing older is amazing, but our bodies do start to break down. And you have owned your part in it all. And I love that. I have one more question before we end this. What do you think about being a wise old broad? How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I just, I don't know that. I don't know if I told you this before, but I tell you the I don't know that I've ever thought of myself that way,
mm-hmm.
but I've come to accept my age. I've come to accept that I do know some things in this life, like my mother before me did.
Mm-hmm.
And I've come to accept that as we live in this life, that we do gain some wisdom. So, I just feel that maybe it's something that I've come to or stumbled across because of, just living.
Just living.
I don't know.
You just stumbled into it. Well, you know what? I want you to know that you're definitely one of my favorite Wise Old Broads. I truly, truly appreciate you for joining my broadcast. Thank you so much for always being available whenever I tap on your shoulder. And I truly do love you.
Welcome. You're welcome. I love you too, Andrea, very much. And I appreciate you. Thank you for the honor you've given me. And I just appreciate you so much. And for the privilege of being a part of your project. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We're going to talk, okay?
All righty. Thank you.
You're welcome. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the first live streaming episode of Wise Old Broads. Now, I appreciate all of my old broads. She was one that was there when I was trying to figure out how to do it. And initially with all of my equipment in tow, and we went to her house and we were taping things up. And I appreciate how she is always willing to give back, just like many of the women who you'll hear from me in these upcoming broadcasts. So you guys stay tuned. I appreciate you for joining in. I appreciate you for chiming in. And thank you for coming to the first episode of Wise Old Broads. Have a good one, okay?